One snowy morning just past dawn this past winter, I awoke to find tracks in the snow that had fallen the night before. I knew they weren't from cats or dogs, so I put my coat and boots on and went out for a look. And still unsure, I paid careful attention. I went back inside and I Googled animal tracks. To my amazement, I found out that those tracks belonged to the red fox. I had seen Red Fox during the summer, but to think that he or she was still prowling around at night in the winter completely fascinated me. In this lesson, I'd like to talk to you about tracks in reading. We call it annotation, so it's not like these tracks we see with these animals here. Expert readers use the powerful tool of jotting down their thinking as a way of interacting with text. Why? So that we can learn and understand and remember what we read. I'd like to help you learn to leave tracks in the text with your thinking. In this lesson, I'm going to introduce to you the symbols that you can use as you annotate or leave tracks in the text. When you're reading a passage and you find yourself thinking, that seems to be a really important fact or idea. You'll want to underline that phrase or sentence. A common mistake may be to think everything is important and underline all of the sentences in a paragraph or on a page. Next, if you find yourself thinking while you're reading a passage, I don't know the meaning of that word, or I think I may know it, but I'm not so sure, you'll want to circle the word and see if you can make meaning out of the text without taking time to look it up at that moment. A common problem to watch for is you may lose focus when you encounter a difficult word. Decide to keep going, and you can go back later and figure it out. Place a question mark in the margin near a sentence or sentences when you find yourself thinking, I think I might have a question about that. Then, when you find yourself thinking something like, wow, that's cool. I didn't know that. That really surprises me. Put an exclamation point. And finally, you'll want to use your codes for making connections when you find yourself thinking. That reminds me of a book or a movie or an experience I've had or something I know to be true in the world. This is a skill you've practiced in 1st and 2nd grade, and it should be familiar to you. As you practice reading passages and leaving your tracks in the text, you may find that you invent your own symbols along the way to add to your bookmark. Just remember that you can't always leave your tracks in everything you read, especially if it's a library book or something you don't want to write in. But students who learn to interact with text by annotating or leaving tracks will find that eventually your tracks will be automatic in your brain, and you'll find that you've become a more expert reader. And this is what I want to leave you with, this thought right here. When I annotate or leave tracks in the text, I become a more expert reader.